Gex. Buddy. You gotta know that's not how that works, right? Yeah, fine, whatever. Greetings, mortals! I'm Warevo, and welcome back to Gex 3 Deep Cover Gecko. Today, we're going to war! Now, it's a known fact that I'm a huge Sabaton fan. Those of you who don't know, Sabaton is a well-known Swedish metal band who sings a lot of songs about war, military history, World War I and II. And what better way to honor that love than with a glimpse at the Army Channel? Let's dive right in, shall we? And of course, we're going to start with the simple remote first. Now, this level is where you'll see my sanity slowly start to crumble. Because this level, especially looking for the 100 Flycoin remote, gets very, very confusing. It is very easy to lose the Flycoins in this level. And I end up doing exactly that. Now, those of you who didn't tune into my Ape Escape demo video, I'm doubling down on my new format of recording the footage of the game, then coming back and doing the voiceover afterwards. Because, as I learned in my last Gex 3 video, it's a pain in the butt trying to line up the video, sync the in-game audio to the video, and then trying to sync my voice to it while adding an extra voice in afterwards. So I just decided to cut all those extra steps out, record the footage, then do the voiceover. It's a whole lot easier this way. And I think it turns out a lot better, because then you're not hearing as much dead air. Now here, you can tell the game was a tad bit rushed, because that panel right there, was originally supposed to be a map. But instead, they replaced it with that texture. I always wondered why that weird little panel was sticking out of the wall there that was very obviously meant to be something. And now I know. Now here, originally the idea behind the beds was there were supposed to be mines all over the floor, and you were supposed to use the beds to avoid doing that. But I guess they decided it was a little bit too dangerous, so they cut that out. Fortunately. Because y'all be seeing how much trouble I have with these mines. Which, I'll be honest, about as much trouble as I have with these spotlights. Yeah, the machine gun doesn't always shoot straight, and it's hard to aim. Not nearly as bad as the tank, but still. You'll see.
That was amazing, sir.
You'll see.
Well done.
The Pentagon spent $25 million on this one level? Let's get it on!
Hello, soldier.
All is fair in love and war. Now that war is out of the way, well,
Don't you ever give up?
I have not yet begun to fight, I think.
Oh yeah, real smooth, Gex. I've not even begun to fight, I think. Yeah, are you not sure? Anyway, we're done with World War I. Let's go into World War II. Yippee! Now, this part is almost as big a pain in the butt as the next one. And it all hinges around one thing. That stupid tank. I'm gonna go on record by saying I love this level, but I absolutely hate this tank. But first, a couple of pop culture references. Patton's General Store, of course, a reference to General George Patton. But anyway, back to business. This tank controls like the RC car in Ape Escape. Only instead of being a tiny hunk of plastic, it's a giant hunk of metal. If you're gonna have something this big controlled by a joystick, at least make the controls fluent. Have some sort of effort put into it. In addition, this particular part of the level happens to be a big confusing mess. There are a lot of times when I've had to come back here several times looking for things, or passing through and making several laps to find that last bug crate that was right in front of me the whole time, but I was too blind to see it.
This for the 60s had run at high.
Now, there are some times when I've wondered if the game developers may not have been given enough time to work on the game. And glancing through the prototypes, I realized, yeah, the game was, in fact, slightly rushed. Well, more than slightly rushed.
Amazing, son. Well done.
Because there was a lot of really cool ideas that ended up getting cut out. And maybe one of these days I'll do a playthrough of at least one of the prototypes. But one of the most notable hidden levels is an unfinished alternate version of the Western level.
Let's get it on.
I can imagine why they dropped that one, because it looked like it was very difficult to code. Like, some of the scripts weren't working right and all that, but what with the time constraints and all that, I can understand why some of the levels were cut.
Hey, where's the Fleet of Canada level?
Canada? Gex, you actually think you're escaping from this? No. No, you're trapped here with me, buddy. You ain't going anywhere. Now, I had mentioned before how this level, it's very difficult to find some of the fly coins, especially because they're so spaced out. Now, in the next part, you'll see a massive maze, and that maze hides a lot of those fly coins.
Where are you from, son?
Some of them are in obvious places that you'd think would be right in front of you, but end up being, well, you'll see. But I've had to repeat this level several times, looking for those fly coins over the years. It's not near as bad as the gangster level later in the game, but we don't talk about that.
Good morning, Menlo Park!
Yeah, make sure you check every hole, Gex. You don't want to end up accidentally missing one in a hole and then having to run around the whole maze of a level like a headless chicken several times looking for it. Because that's totally not a thing I had to do. I didn't have to do that and then have to come back only to find it was in an incredibly obvious spot where I should have seen it right away. Foreshadowing. Mama always said jumping on the bed was hazardous for your health. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to make a trip into town because I have to go get some groceries. In my tank. Do you think the military uses this game as training when you're driving a tank? I think that would be ironic and funny. You would learn nothing, but at least it would be entertaining.
Surprise.
Do you think this is an actual real town where someone lives, like in-game? Or is this like one of those towns, one of those fake towns that they set up for training purposes? Yeah, imagine you're just sitting at home editing a video. All of a sudden, oh, there's a Gecko in a tank. What? Why is he aiming that tank barrel at us? And this is why I learned that you can collect the bug crates literally by just touching them. You don't have to tail whip them or tail bounce on them or anything. You can literally just touch them. So, that's an interesting little fact for you. Maybe there's a speedrun strategy involved somewhere. Now here I'm trying to get the fly coins without getting that last bug crate, because I don't want to trigger the helicopter cutscene again. Because you can't skip those. You can fast forward through them by holding down the X button, but you can't skip them. I've always said 50 fly coins mean an extra life, sir. Yeah, that was a terrible Alfred impression. I apologize. I apologize for that blatant violation of the Geneva Convention. That was that Alfred impression.
If I was Alan Alda, I'd be sobbing by now.
I'm actually surprised at how few landmines I actually managed to trigger going through this level. Because always in the past, I wasn't able to get the fly coins without setting off the landmines. But this time I actually managed to do that, so I'm actually proud of myself here. And here we get to the most frustrating part of the level. Here, you have to shoot out all the searchlights, and you have to collect, or you have to beat all the Sarges. And as you can see, that is kind of hard to do when the machine guns aim like water in flypaper. Fortunately, when you're on the machine guns, the hand grenades can't hurt you, and neither can the Sarges. And the the grenades in each area stop spawning after you shatter the searchlights in that area. Now, as for collecting the fly coins, in this particular area, that's a bit of a nightmare because, as you can see, there's a foxhole. A little foxhole maze. And the fly coins are littered throughout. Often you end up having to retrace your steps
The Pentagon spent
and
$25
checking
million
and rechecking
on
and
this
rechecking
one
again every single inch. Which I end up having to do. A lot. Right here is where I miss one of the fly coins. And I end up coming back for it later. That one right there. See it right there? Next to the machine gun? That one right there. I missed it. It's in a little hole there. And I did not end up coming back for it until after searching the level for probably 20 minutes. Watch as I slowly lose my mind. And once I did find it, oh boy did I feel stupid. Now, this right here shows a very good point. It is very easy to get caught on those machine guns. You try to walk away, you take one step or hit the wrong button, you go to the machine gun screen again. You man the machine gun again. I end up doing that several times. It's a pain in the butt, but I managed to get through it alright. It does get really annoying after a while, though. I'm going to go on record by saying it is absolutely possible to gun down all the Sarges with the guns. However, the further they are away, the more difficult it becomes. Sometimes it's easier just to go after them on foot. And with this, that's the last of the searchlights in this section done. At least on this side of that wall. I have to take down the last Sarge, collect those last couple fly coins, except for the one back there that I missed. I make a second trip around the place to see if I missed anything, which I did, even though I'm going through to prevent missing anything. There's that one. Note again that I missed the one next to it. You dummy. You know, I actually really like this level. It's actually one of my favorite levels in the game. Though it can be very confusing. And it has a very maze-like quality to it. Well, they kind of got me there. I mean, you're in a war-based TV channel, so it kind of makes sense. So now we go over to wrap up the task at hand, and this is where you see me getting stuck on the machine gun again. We go to wrap up the mission remote before going off to find the remaining fly coins. Before searching for 20 minutes for the one I missed. 2 times now. When I was younger, this remote took me forever to get because I was young and dumb, and I would often spend several hours searching for whatever it was I missed,
Amazing, sir.
only to realize I had one searchlight that I had left behind. So now it's time for you to watch as I lose my mind. After I leave this section, I'm just gonna cut to when I finally do find that last fly coin. And I will see you then. There's fly coin number 99, and thus it begins.
I'm getting my fill of TV. Surprise, surprise, surprise.
20 minutes later.
And cue bashing my head on the keyboard in 3, 2, 1. Yep, right there. I felt so incredibly stupid, I intentionally hit myself on a couple of landmines just to teach myself a lesson. And I got stuck on the machine gun a few more times. Yeah,
It's tail
I felt so stupid. But that's just how it goes sometimes. That's it for the Army channel. And next time, I will attempt to go through this section of the hub world and get all the collectibles. I say attempt because there's one in particular there's a pain in the butt that I have never been able to get. But until then, this is Warevo signing off. Thanks and God bless.